Hi, my name is Liyan Liu, and I am currently coming back to school to get my single subject credential in English. For fun, I like to kickbox, hike, I like karaoke, and my current favorite show is What We Do in the Shadows. Um, in my opinion, my perception of a good online class would essentially be something that can still be engaging despite the fact that we're not in the classroom. And I feel like a big part of that is to have a variety of different materials and medias so that I can consume the same concept and review that concept in different formats. I think it's also really important to still facilitate a collaborative space, even if we're not really talking one-on-one or in person. Discussion boards, I think, are a really great idea. And then just being provided resources that can help me have a chance to explore the topic on my own outside of class as well. So moving on to section B, in response to the first video, essentially what I learned is that the focus of this course is about creating an inclusive classroom, and that is by doing two things. One is to learn how general ed teachers can collaborate with special ed professionals to support learners with disabilities, and the second is how general ed teachers can collaborate with families from diverse backgrounds. Additionally, there are weekly readings, 2 quizzes per month, and interspersed discussion prompts, which are all listed in the syllabus. From video 2, the 13 disability categories as covered by the Individuals with Disability Education Act of 2004. Those are autism, deafblindness, deafness, emotional disturbance, hearing impairment, intellectual disability, multiple disabilities, orthopedic impairment, other health impairment, specific learning disability, speech or language impairment, traumatic brain injury, and visual impairment. Moving on to videos 3 and 4, for the eligibility rules for special education services, number 1 is to have a documented disability in one of the 13 disability categories. And the second is to have that disability have an adverse or negative impact on school performance for the student in question. Two common issues associated with adolescents and disabilities. One would be discrimination. So essentially, people without disabilities might act in a different way towards someone with a disability than towards their other peers without a disability. And then an increase of comorbid disorders in students who have disabilities. And essentially what that means is that they might develop something, for example, like anxiety or depression as a result of that kind of ostracization due to any sort of prejudice or discrimination. They might develop a second disorder. Moving on to Bateman and Klein's Why is People First Language Important? Essentially, People First Language is the opposite of Identity First Language, and it is used to speak appropriately and respectfully about an individual with a disability. The whole idea of People First Language is that it emphasizes the person first, not the disability, so it kind of identifies that person as an individual and not by their disability. So for example, we can say something like a person who is hard of hearing versus a deaf person, or something that was very interesting to me when talking about people without disabilities, we can use that term instead of saying normal person.